Hello everyone, I hope that you are well. Today I would like to put together a really short and very informal presentation because I'm aware that I should be coming to speak to many of your groups over the coming weeks and the coming months. Sadly that won't be the case now due to the coronavirus. But I am speaking with your speaker secretaries, postponing and rescheduling for later this year and into 2021 as well. So I do promise as soon as this is all over, I'll be back at your groups to give you the next instalment. For those of you that haven't seen me speak before at any of your groups, my name is Tom and I'm a wildlife photographer living in Buckinghamshire, and I've been photographing wildlife now for the last 8 or 9 years around the world, specialising really though in photographing the African wildlife, but also some of the Indian wildlife as well, with those beautiful tigers. Now today's presentation I would like to showcase some of the latest pictures from my most recent trip out to Kenya back in February and early March. Images that really I would have been showing you at the upcoming talks in the next few weeks. And overall, when I travelled to Kenya at this time of year, it should be very dry. But this time it was really different. It was actually really wet. Most days we had big thick storm clouds and lots of rain. You can see from this photograph here, we left camp one morning and there was a beautiful double rainbow over the top of the savannah. And you can see just at the bottom of the picture how much water it is lying on the ground there. The main purpose of my trip out to Africa this time was to focus on both lion and elephant. And I began with photographing the lions out on the savannah. And for those of you that have heard me speak before, you'll know how much I enjoy photographing this large cat. If you've seen any of my talks, you may remember this picture here, titled The Strongest Bond, showing the young male and also that female lioness as well. But also my favourite image you'll have seen before as well, titled View to a Kill. Now, ideally, I was looking to improve on the pictures that I'd taken over the last few years, and the closest that I came was actually this picture here, the lion walking directly towards me. Now, I probably don't actually prefer this photograph, but I wanted to put it in today's presentation just to give you an idea of how it's taken. Where am I sitting in terms of the lion coming towards me? And you can see from this footage that actually I am reasonably safe. I'm actually in a vehicle at this time. The lion is walking towards my camera and I'm able to take the pictures by lying in the footwell of my vehicle. Now, another lion picture that I was quite pleased with as well was this one here. This is titled The Nomad. The same principle applies. I have to get quite close to the lion. I'm about 2 meters away, but the only difference here is that the lion is standing still, so I can actually photograph the detail and the look in his eyes when he's staring directly at me. Once I'd finished photographing the lions, it was then on to my next focus, which was the elephants. And again, for those that have heard me speak before, may remember this picture titled Under Mother's Guidance, showing that beautiful baby elephant who is only really a month old, using mum's legs for stability. Now, I saw quite a few young elephants on this most recent trip, and this was an image titled Best Foot Forward, which I took of the small elephant coming forward to drink some water. Now, although the babies are very entertaining and I spent a good amount of time with them, it was actually the adults, the big bulls in particular, that I really wanted to see. Ones with lots of texture, ones with big tusks as well. And this was my first attempt, as you can see here. Now, again, like the lion scenario, I'd really like to show you where I am in relation to these large animals. And you can see it's a bit different. I'm actually outside of the vehicle, lying down on the floor, reasonably close to this big elephant. This next image taken about a week later, the same principle applies. I'm lying outside of the vehicle, right down on the floor, getting ready as the elephant just slowly begins to walk towards me. When I am this close to the elephant, it is a great opportunity to take some photographs of their textures and all that detail around the trunk and around the tusks. And so these two photographs coming up now on the screen, I really enjoy because you can see how much texture is all across their body there. These are some of nature's greatest tools, and they're coming very useful for feeding and foraging on the savannah. It just so happens that actually my favourite shot from this entire trip came right at the end. How many times have you heard that before on the television documentaries where they've been sitting for a month or so and eventually that best moment comes at the end? And that was no different to my stay here. The last evening of the trip, very, very fortunate. We drove out, and although it was pouring with rain, lots of cloud, at the end of the evening, the sun just sank below the cloud line, highlighting this elephant against the horizon with those beautiful colours. So, so lucky indeed. And as I say, my favourite image from this most recent trip. Those of you at home now, I guess, are almost asking what next? For me and my industry, like so many other people, we as photographers have been affected as well. But it's just a case of, like yourselves, this period of self-isolation, this period of lockdown. I am in a very fortunate position that some of you may remember from these talks. I live on a small farm, and just at the back of my garden here, I can go out into the garden, into my own hide without seeing anybody else, and photograph a family of foxes that come into the meadows on a spring and a summer's evenings. So I'm actually really looking forward to photographing those before hopefully everything clears up very quickly and we can go back to normal life. I do hope that this short and again informal presentation today has just been a small source of entertainment for you and updating you on my latest adventure. I do look forward to coming back to your groups in the near future. Please do stay safe and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.